Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Orange Country. I'm Gina Kirschenheiter here with my fabulous co-host, Shane McAnally.
I didn't realize you were going to do it. Sorry, I stepped on it.
You did step on it. At least you didn't step in it.
I know, but I'm close. I'm close.
And today, I'm actually really excited because today we have on a fabulous, wonderful guest, Lauren Williams. She's a dear friend of mine and also a very interesting guest today. I wanted to have her on because Lauren is in the business of death, everybody. She is the owner of Clarity Funeral Homes and Cremations. Right. And the reason why, I know this may sound a little odd. That
Clarity Funerals and Cremations.
Clarity Funerals.
What did I say?
You said Clarity Funeral Homes and Creation.
Creation. Whoa.
I was trying to correct her.
We create a lot of things.
I got it way off.
Wow. Well, they'll make it happen. Okay. So let me.
They'll make it happen.
Whatever's your pleasure. They make it happen.
If you die, they got you.
They got you.
My mom has a horrible slogan. It says, "You stab them and we slap them."
Oh!
Well, I guess we know where this conversation is going, and we probably anywhere we want.
Yeah.
Straight to hell. Have to use that for Cheryl Marquez. That's not me.
Love it. I love to do some Cheryl
Just
as well.
Cheryl.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I wanted to have Lauren on today, though, is because actually Travis and I were out to dinner with Lauren and Evan, our good friends. And, we're just talking about what's going on in our lives. Oh, how's business going or whatever. And Lauren brought to me this new concept that is happening in the afterlife business. Yes.
Is that right?
I think that sounded so nice.
You can use afterlife,
actually.
Post-life?
Post-mortem?
I guess afterlife is more spiritual, like where your soul goes.
This is where your body goes.
Yes.
This is what we're talking about.
So this is like a type of disposition. So a disposition is like what happens after somebody passes away. So you can choose like cremation or burial or aquamation. But the newest thing that we're involved in is called Terramation.
Terramation. Yes.
Terramation.
Yeah. So this is what really sparked my interest because we're sitting at dinner, over this lovely meal. First of all, this is what we're talking about at dinner, but I was like all in because I love this stuff. First of all, I'm very into Halloween and the afterlife. And actually I did work for years at a medical school. So I was in I was in like the lab, the structure lab with the dead bodies. It's very creepy, but I like it and I'm into it. And from it's just so interesting to me, this idea of Terramation. And Lauren was explaining it to me and I was like, I want you to come on and tell us about what this is. And then we can talk about it.
Okay, I have no idea what it is. I don't even know what aquamation is.
Me
I know
neither.
It has something to do with water.
I want to know
I heard
that
you say
too.
that.
Yes. So I have not worked with aquamation, but it does have to do with I don't even want to describe it because I'm not knowledgeable
that's
on it.
fair
So I won't
enough.
really
Does
talk.
Jason
That's fair
Momoa
enough.
have anything to do with it?
I wish. That would be nice.
I'd be into it.
Yeah, I'll be into it then.
Think of.
Yeah.
I think
Aquaman.
everybody would.
Okay, so we're gonna let you talk about Terramation.
I'm now
Let's
into
talk about
aquamation.
Terramation. Yeah.
So Terramation is the transformation of human remains into soil. So when someone passes away and they choose Terramation, legally in California, we can't do it yet until 2027, but we have partners in Seattle that do it, and their company name's Return Home. So if somebody passes away, they pass away in California. They're shipped to Seattle, and they're placed in these things, which is called a vessel. A vessel, I have a picture of it if you'd like to see.
I would love to see it.
I actually love
when
Lauren looks for the picture, when she first sat down, I thought it reminded me of a Housewives reunion because I thought, she brought receipts.
She did. She brought the receipts.
She did. She brought it all. She had some paperwork.
I did. I didn't want to show up
empty-handed.
Totally. So I had to bring everything.
But
this is what a vessel looks like. It's the top.
Okay, so for those of you who can't see what this is,
it's a box.
That's like a wooden box.
It's a box.
For lack of,
you could put decorative things
on it. Yeah, for lack
it.
of better terms, I say it looks like a meat fridge.
Like a
for your
locker?
It does. It looks like a fridge. Yeah.
It does look like a refrigerator, but that you also, it looks like you can memorialize it.
Yes,
Yeah.
so you can. So your body is inside of this with alfalfa, sawdust, and straw.
Okay.
And they're inside of this vessel. And the body will naturally decompose. And with the organics on top of it, it will continue to decompose and turn into human compost that you can receive back.
Usable compost.
Yes, usable compost.
Absolutely love this.
Me too. I do too.
right?
And so while the person is inside of the vessel, the family can visit. Although it's in Seattle, you can still go visit whenever you want. It takes about 2 to 3 months before.
So when you say the family can go, and I'm reading here where it says where it says our vessels are held in a public area. Families may visit their loved ones anytime, meaning while this process is taking place.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not loud. There's nothing that happens. The body is inside of the vessel. There's oxygen flowing to continue the decomposition
process,
but it's not loud. It's very beautiful. So
honestly, it's no different than when you have a casket and you bury them and then you go to the grave to visit them there. It's the same concept of visiting and memorializing.
Except it actually helps the earth.
Yeah, because what's left actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what was very interesting to me because, you don't think about this, but the crematoriums produce a lot of emissions, and in places like California, who in general, we have a lot of smog issues and stuff like this. You don't really think about how much that's actually contributing to like the negative emissions that we have in this state. And so this is an alternative. It's kind of like something very circle of life, very beautiful in a way,
very
and also
so.
is going to help reduce those negative emissions.
Yes. So one of the company, the Return Home that we work with, their saying is "Life grows on."
Oh.
So
I love that.
It really does.
And
it
I
grows
love the
on.
name Return Home.
I love it too.
Life grows on.
Life grows on. So I was at their facility and speaking with the owner, and within 10 minutes of him describing Terramation to me, I changed my disposition. I was like,
I feel the same way right now.
I'm doing this. Like,
me too.
Without a doubt, this is going to help the earth. It's not a casket just going into the ground and doing nothing for us. It's not having a cremation where there's carbon emission, not trying to knock the other types of disposition.
Well, it's just another type.
This one actually helps.
And you could also, like in my mind, and maybe, please, I'm drawing conclusions here, but I'm assuming, that you use the soil in a specific place, a tree, something, and then that's where you are immortalized.
You can do anything with
So let's talk about, Lauren, you said to me the other night how much, because it's kind of a generous volume that you get back.
Really?
Yes.
So how much? Yeah.
I mean, you can choose any amount that you want back, but you can get up to 250 pounds. They give you everything back.
250 pounds.
250 pounds.
Would the person have had to have weighed 250 pounds?
No, because they have to add organic materials to it.
Yes,
all organic
it's
materials.
Soil that becomes soil. So it's mixed in there. It's a compost, What? Oh my God. This is amazing. Who is this?
That's Aunt Lulu.
This is actually.
Oh my Lord.
So Terramation is a very common way of disposing of remains.
Okay.
So it's very common in animals. And do you remember when eggs last year, like the price rose like crazy?
Yeah.
It went up. It was like $12 for 12 eggs. And you're like, I'm not paying for it. But so they actually had this virus that it like took over all of the chickens and they had to kill them all. And then what they do is they essentially terramate them.
Okay.
This is a pig. So we call this piggy compost.
Oh.
And it doesn't smell. I mean, if you want to look at it, you can touch it.
Let's
like
get
it
in
has
there.
Nothing. Oh my God.
Smells just like bacon.
Oh. Yeah.
But this is what you get back.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't
smell like it smells like dirt. Yeah.
Wow.
So the whole Terramation was
now I have everything.
I mean,
I have paperwork. I have a pig.
It does seem better than like the ashes. Like you can.
I agree.
Really, it actually is pretty. It's nice, like mulch. That you could put in your garden. It's a nice coloring. You can plant flowers.
Yeah, you could do anything you want with it, pending the owner of the home or land allows you to.
Right.
So you're saying now, if you do this now, your body would be shipped to Seattle, and then the soil would be shipped back here?
Yes.
So is the process just hasn't been approved? What's the deal with that?
So California just sucks.
They
and
take
they're
a
slow
longer
at everything
time.
that they do. So
Which is funny because I don't know why I would think the opposite. I would
It
think
seems
California.
so California,
It does.
right? It's so crunchy.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
there's only a few states that allow it right now. Washington, Oregon, Nevada, and Colorado, and then a few on the East Coast.
Okay.
But California is just taking a long time to license it. So
Okay.
it's allowed to happen, but you technically can't apply for the license until 2027.
Oh, okay. And
So-
so that it's been approved. It's
Mhm.
just that's how long it takes for the
The license to go
get it
through.
going.
Okay.
So
I get
right
that.
now you use the facility in Seattle,
Right.
but that's through your business still.
Correct. So
Okay. It's almost like outsourcing.
yes, exactly. So
Okay.
you have to, if somebody passes away in California, you have to go to a funeral home because you have to have a death certificate and you have to have a permit for the type of disposition, which is generated from the death certificate. So if somebody passes away here and they choose Terramation, we have to go to a state where it's legal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we partnered with Return Home so that we could allow this to still take place.
And participate in it.
Yeah.
You offer it
Yes.
to the families. that you
Exactly.
service.
Give them
Yeah.
as many options as we possibly can. And especially one that I love so much and like would stand by.
How does the
wholeheartedly.
price compare to a regular burial?
A burial, it ranges.
You
I
don't
would
have to
say,
give us. You don't have to give us like specific.
No,
yeah,
yeah,
like
I'm just
$5,000
curious as if
to
when-
10,000.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
say that's just with the funeral home.
Okay,
5 to
10.
10,000.
Okay.
Then you go to the cemetery and you actually have to purchase a plot. So let's low end another 5,000. You're at 15,000 with a burial.
Wow.
With Terramation, it costs $7,000
For all of it.
For all of it.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, it actually
Even for the even with the shipping
With
to
shipping,
Seattle. Oh,
yes. So you have to.
actually, yeah.
We ship them to Seattle.
It's good for the environment and it's a bargain.
Today's episode is brought to you by Studio.com. Studio.com is the home of the world's best online music classes. Whether you want to level up your skills in songwriting, production, singing, or a lot more, Studio offers over 100 premium classes. So there's something for music makers of any level. Instructors include a 5-time Grammy Award winner, Her, world-renowned DJ Kygo, One Republic frontman Ryan Tedder, Broadway legend Idina Menzel, pop genius Charlie Puth, and of course, me, and many more. In my class, I teach everything I know about the Nashville approach to songwriting and about my own approach. I bring you into my studio and share with you my entire creative process from start to finish. I write 3 brand new songs in front of the class from scratch on camera, explaining everything I'm doing and mostly what I'm thinking along the way, because songwriting is mostly in our head and our hearts. Hopefully, it's hard to explain until you actually see me doing it, where I'm saying, this is how I got this idea, or I'll jot something down, or I'll record a piece of music and then I'll put it all together, play a little on the guitar, play a little on the piano. I'll get into lyric writing, storytelling, melody, song structure, collaboration, and so much more. So head over to studio.com/Shane to check out my class or explore over 100 other amazing classes from the world's best. And again, that is studio.com/Shane. It's really kind of blowing my
Isn't
mind
it
that this has
interesting?
just happened.
No, okay. So then this is another part of it that I love. So Lauren, this is like perhaps a future endeavor. I'm not suggesting that you're doing this now, but
Yes.
it's just to get the ideas of what you could do with it, right? So this was
Right.
what this idea really kind of hooked me in, because Lauren was like, eventually, once it becomes fully licensed in California and all that, and they're doing it and rocking and rolling, the idea that they could purchase a plot of land and then they send the jar, because most families don't want 6 bags of Tallulah's soil, whatever. They just want a small thing to memorialize, maybe plant a little flower or whatever. So if they have all of this extra, though, they can now soil this land that they purchase. They could build like a beautiful flower field.
That's what
And
I
now
love.
everybody
Yes.
who has participated in this Terramation idea can go there and visit these flower fields and feel like their family member, their loved one is in there flourishing in the flowers.
Totally.
And I feel like, wow, like that and it
Mhm.
feels to me so much more uplifting and happy than the idea of like visiting, the cemetery is like a
Yeah.
little bit of a different vibe. This
It
to me
is.
felt, it felt
It's very
more
personal.
Yeah.
So I was personal story. I was in Seattle and I came back, and that week I had to go do a burial service for a family friend. And I'm sitting there at the burial. So we did the whole church service, whole Catholic service, and then good 2 hours, leave, go to the cemetery. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this pink metal casket just going into the ground. And I was like, this is so sad. Like, they're going into the ground. Nobody ever, you really don't go visit the cemeteries.
No.
So this person is just going to be essentially rotting
Yeah.
alone.
in a casket alone.
And because it's sealed,
Yes.
all that the
Nothing goes back to the
decomposition
earth.
can never be a part
Nothing.
of the earth. Can never be.
Never.
It's really
Actually,
wow.
more garbage in the earth.
Yeah. I was telling another person, but I think my parents spent like $30,000 for my grandma to be buried at a beautiful cemetery in Newport, ocean view over Fashion Island, all of the above.
I don't think
It's
she's
definitely
enjoying
a
it.
30 grander.
I agree with you. And I could say maybe people visit her. He's one of 5 brothers and there's like 12 cousins. And I mean, I personally go and visit her maybe twice a year, which
Yeah.
is sad, you know, on her birthday.
I feel like that's still good though.
For me though, so often where my grandmother's buried too in Texas, I just went recently for the first time in years, and I liked the peacefulness of being there. But I remember saying to my husband, "She's not here," and that's the thing is she's with us everywhere. I don't, and so knowing that there's a box taking up space when, especially my grandmother was a gardener and, just
She could
of
be
the earth.
flourishing your vegetables right now.
It's so beautiful. And I thought
I don't know
it
if
was.
I want to eat grandma, but
Well,
I think this might be where
It'd
I
be a
draw the
beautiful
line.
presentation.
Yeah, I don't want to do the cucumber version of grandma. I'm sorry, I got a little off. But that
no,
one,
that's
that
hilarious.
one really
Actually,
threw me.
no,
you
but
know?
you know what I mean. It's just
Let's
that
make grandma a nice eggplant
it could
parm
be
today.
a-
I can't stop. I like the flowers. I like flowers.
She's gonna stick with the flowers.
I'll
We're not
put
gonna do it in the
her
garden.
on the table. And,
I do love the
watch
tree. I love
the
a tree.
is a
Tree.
beautiful sentiment,
no,
and it's good soil,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
because it's got all the organic stuff in
It's
it.
in-
when
rich.
she texted me and said that she was going to have you on, but didn't explain anything beyond.
I'm glad we're
She-
all on the same
she
page that
deals-
Gina didn't explain anything to
I give no
anybody.
information to anyone.
But I
It's gonna be
said,
great.
she just goes, I think it'd be great to have my friend Lauren. She deals in death.
she deals in death.
And I was like, okay, this is the weirdest text I've ever received.
He literally wrote that.
I
to
did.
me.
I said, but you know what? If you think it's something that people would be interested in, and I got to say, she is right. This is fascinating to me. And again, 10 minutes in, just like you said earlier, talking to the other person, we're sitting here going, why is this just now a thing?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's our biggest thing with Terramation is that people just aren't educated about it.
Yeah.
Educated on it, excuse me. But
yeah.
and that's going to be for the next 3 years, us just trying to pound the
Spread
pavements
the
like
word.
Terramation.
Yeah.
Because when you explain it to people, they're like, of course I'm going to do that. I drive a Tesla. Of course I do that.
Exactly.
That Tesla's
I
way more
only
expensive
eat-
than this,
it
too.
is.
Let me
So,
tell you,
yeah.
if I have to drink out of one more paper straw, I
By God.
am definitely going to be doing Terramation.
100%.
Plus, I just love the name Terramation.
Terramation. I know.
So Return Home, our partners, they coined that.
I love
The name
it.
Terramation.
Yes.
What does the Terra stand for? What is that?
Transformation.
Transformation.
Okay.
Transformation
Okay.
of human
Yeah.
remains.
So
It
they
is,
are.
yeah.
Return Home is actually a partner of yours.
Yes.
and I know that you're using them now. But what I'm wondering is, as the business changes and when you're able to do it here,
Mhm.
would you still be connected with Return Home?
I think you'd still give referral
course,
business, but you
yes.
would be doing your own.
We would.
Yeah,
we
right?
plan on doing our own, opening up
A facility.
a facility that would allow that we would be able to do our own.
How did you get into this?
Well, my parents, so we own a crematory
Okay.
and we own a crematory and a few funeral homes. Clarity Funerals and Cremations is one of them, but the
Mhm.
Gardens Crematory is our main business.
And this was
Mm-hmm.
it was a family business.
It's a family business, yes. And
Mhm.
my dad asked me to come and help for 10 years and then he'll sell it and give me a cut.
I love how honest Lauren is.
Now I've been here for 14 years and there's no end in sight because he just lives at the country club.
Expanding it.
Yes.
And that's just how it happens.
Is the actual original, the funeral home, is a funeral home and then there's a crematory in it? And it's like a funeral home like what I imagine in my hometown?
No,
Not
this
what
is
you
interesting
imagine.
too. Explain this because people don't understand this. And this is what I think is really cool. I've learned a lot about what's going to happen when I croak. I really have from Lauren.
Okay, so most funeral homes, they don't do their own work, essentially. So you will Google a cremation society. I'm going to cremation for Grandma Tallulah.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll pick the cheapest one, or you'll pick one that your family always goes to or something like that. And let's say it's the ABC cremation. So you choose ABC cremation, you call them up and you're like, hey, my Aunt Tallulah just died. Can you come and we want to do a cremation? So the mortuary or the funeral home picks up your loved one, and then they bring them to a facility, like a holding facility, which is what our crematory is. So we have coolers at our facility or refrigeration units, and we will hold your loved one until their whatever type of disposition the family chose will take place. So we facilitate and cremate and do funerals at our facility.
You actually do the funerals there too, though?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Does it feel like a church?
No, it looks like a living room.
Okay.
So it's small, intimate, because we are we do the cremations. It's very, for lack of a better term, but kind of informal. And most people have like a life celebration or a memorial service after.
Right. And they go elsewhere.
It's not like
Yes.
a wake.
For that.
Or,
No, it's just like you can look at your loved one, you'll see them, say goodbye, leave them letters, put a pillow, put a stuffed animal,
Put a
their
pillow.
favorite kind of drink
A pillow
that they
over their
like,
face.
a cocktail.
cocktail,
Make
everything, anything you want to put in there as long as it doesn't have batteries.
Yeah.
So
As long as it doesn't have batteries, that's
Yes,
interesting too.
because they'll explode.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
So we do this for about 40 to 50 mortuaries in Southern California. So if you choose a mortuary,
Oh, wait,
that
So
so
they're
doesn't
like
necessarily,
basically a front office,
Yes.
basically. You know what I mean?
that's all you're going to when you go to a mortuary.
They're the facilitators of what happens after.
Mhm.
And in Lauren's case, because they also own the crematorium, they actually now are facilitating to send your loved one to the crematorium, have it all done and get it back. But really the mortuary is just an office, essentially, that facilitates this whole process.
Oh.
And then
Yes.
there's like different kinds of like people own the funeral parlor that you could do a wake and stuff at, but
Yes.
that's a separate entity.
And that's a different thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of an old school,
Yes.
a more traditional.
A lot of people still do it.
Yeah.
They still do it.
Yeah.
And I think they do it for like grandma
Yeah. What was always going to do
who
it
is
that
always
way.
going to do it
Yeah.
and won't ever go.
Right.
right.
And then you have people that are just like, I just want to have a cremation. I don't even want the cremated remains back. Like, just do what you wish with them. Like, well, you have to come and get them.
You do. What happens if you don't?
Well, we
They have a
charge for
whole-
storing.
They have a
So it's-
storage facility of
no,
urns.
we would just direct them to, we need you to.
Surely there are people that just
Choose.
get left.
Aw.
Well, no, what we do is if they don't want them, we give them the option that we could scatter them at sea for them.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
This is so fast. I mean, I thought I knew everything. I watched 6 Feet Under.
Right?
I thought I knew
Such a good series.
It really was good.
Can we talk about, do you know anything about the people who get made into the diamonds?
It's cremated remains, and they're
Okay.
just
And they just
pressed
put 'em-
into diamonds. Yeah, or diamonds.
Okay. If you have anybody laying around, I'll
take a
take them off your hand. We
Okay.
can press them and I could use some.
If you grew up around this,
Yes.
I'm assuming was
Yes.
family,
so
like you said, family business, but since you were young?
my entire life.
So here's a question. You probably can't even imagine the strangeness that most people have around dead bodies.
Yes.
She's very comfortable around.
Well,
I
I'm
am
just saying
very
it's just
comfortable,
always
yes.
been, I'm sure I'm assuming in your, in your world, it's very normalized. That's the body. That death is the release of the soul, the spirit. The body is just a shell, and it's not. I mean,
So that's what I believe. But when you're working and you're talking with people, you can't ever come with that approach.
right?
It just has to be like well, number one,
They
like,
want it to be treated as if they're
every single
sympathetic,
person we treat as if it's my mom or if it's my aunt or my, God forbid, like kids, like
so
anything
you're
like that.
telling me you don't set the bodies up like Weekend at Bernie's and like hang out with them and put sunglasses on them and a party hat?
Absolutely not. I would
that's
Shane,
too
let
bad.
them
we
go.
should never have a funeral parlor because we would be doing
We could
that.
just set them
It'd
up.
be like the party funeral home.
Yeah.
You know what? The one time I can say I've known Lauren for years. And I know, when you do something for a long time, you're just used to it. So she is very comfortable around all this. The one time I saw you so extremely upset and affected was at the height of COVID.
Oh, yeah. It was horrific.
When she was seeing things, we were in Orange County and we were like, I don't even know, like maybe some people are sick. It was like during that weird time where it was like you were hearing about all these people that were dying from COVID, but we weren't necessarily all affected by that, especially where we lived in Orange County. And I saw Lauren and she came home one day and she was so upset. She said, you don't understand. The amount, we can't even keep up.
It was the number of
The
people.
amount of people who are needing our services. And she was so affected by that and upset. And I think that's the first and only time I saw you affected by all of this in general.
That was pretty rough on Christmas 2020. So we shut down in January 2020. So it didn't really hit until December 2020. And I remember looking at my phone in the morning on Christmas, kids are opening presents and I'm checking my email real quick and I'm like, gosh darn it, why are there so many logins right now? And I was like, we just had 100 people come to us. Mind you, we can facilitate about 400 people.
Okay.
So if we already have
100,
let's just say 200
in there.
And then 100 just came in less than 8 hours, we're screwed. That means people aren't in the cooler. Where are these people? Where are the transportations putting them? What's going on? So I'm on the cameras and I'm like,
there's just bodies.
So everybody goes in a container, which is called a cremation container. So it looks like a large cardboard box. So everybody's placed in there. And I mean, we're fortunate that we have a lot of storage. So everybody's in the refrigeration units. But I'm like,
it was stressful.
Yeah, you can't have these people. I had to call all of our mortuaries and I was like, do not bring anybody to us. Not one person. Leave them at the hospital. Nobody can come in. It just is what it is.
Because you also have to make sure that everybody's being cared for in the correct way.
It has to. Everybody has to be treated with dignity and respect.
Right.
And if we can't do that, then I can't.
We're not going to do it.
We won't do it.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
By the way, when I said what I said about the spirit and the soul, what I mean was certainly not implying that anybody would ever treat the body as anything less than holy. But what I mean is I'm afraid of a dead body. Just naturally, I have a fear of that. Even when I've lost loved ones, I don't believe they're there, but I still have a fear of them sitting up or winking at me.
Yeah.
And so what I mean is that's so normalized to you to be around a corpse that it just, those things I'm assuming, as a little kid, what was that like?
It's very my girl.
Very my
Very
girl.
my girl.
Yeah, and 6 feet under. And
It was, I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did. That's how they made their money. That's how I got to go on vacation.
Yeah, it was just a normal part of your life.
It was, and it's not
and it is it's part of everybody's life, right?
Yeah,
At the end of
it
the
is.
day.
And it's when people are coming into our facility, they are immediately placed in containers and they're placed in refrigeration. So it's not like there's just people everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's.
Well, what's the difference in the process of when people are made up for an open casket?
Oh, well, they're usually embalmed.
Okay.
So that's when they preserve the
But
decedent's
certainly if you
remains.
guys deal in funerals and all of it, is that part of what you've been around too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. And again, to me, it's just it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And, when I'm working, I go back to, I'm treating this person as if they're my loved one. So however my aunt or my family, I want to make sure that they are able to be shown that the way I would want to see my family members. Does that make sense?
It's so hard not to just imagine on 6 feet under how they would just be oh, we have someone downstairs and you need to go down there and work on them.
Yeah.
And they're just chilling. And
Yeah.
I would do their makeup.
You want to do their makeup?
It's fun. I would
I've done
do
it. I've done a few
yeah.
makeups.
see, that's
Got
what
a
I
bunch
mean.
of beauty
I would do
blenders
it.
everywhere.
Yeah, you want to make them go out good,
You
girl.
do.
I'll do your contour.
You want a jaw? I got
Yeah, I'll
you.
give it to you. I'll make you lose 10 pounds.
Did you,
Yeah,
you put a corpse
go
on
out
Ozempic?
strong.
She
Wouldn't
really
put it
would.
past
She would
anyone.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the stupidest question, and I these sort of basic.
No stupid questions.
Well,
We're
I
good.
mean, you're gonna be like, if I ever get asked that question again, but I have to.
It's okay.
So, have you ever heard of a story of where, like, somebody wasn't dead?
No,
Okay, damn it.
I know. Sorry.
You hear those, at least in the, the gossip, but I guess that's not really true.
Like where someone
I
is.
have heard it. In my experience, I've
It's never been around.
seen it. There are
Yeah.
so many. It's insane. Like there are so many steps
Yeah, that if
that
they
have
got
to
that
happen.
far,
If they got that far, I was like, wow. There's like 15 people that are completely negligent.
You should not be in this business.
Yeah, like, you should- you
I would
wouldn't-
think step one is identify they're really dead. That
Right.
would be
That's
to
number
me,
one. Yeah.
Step one.
Step one.
Yes.
So like whoever is identifying that they're dead and then they make it to our facility, they've gone
Already so many
so
steps.
many steps. And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
That's
will
wild.
Terramation be, or is it when it becomes legal here in California? Legal even sounds funny because there's nothing
know.
that should be
Yeah.
illegal about it.
We'll say
Right.
It
fully
sounds like you're doing
licensed.
Fully
something. Yeah,
licensed.
when it
Yeah.
becomes
There we go.
fully licensed, even though I already said legal and they're not going to cut it out.
It's
Um,
okay.
The,
We just don't know what we're talking about. It's all right.
the question is, will you shift the business to that, or will that just be on a list of things that you offer?
personally, I would like to shift it to Terramation because it doesn't do
Yeah.
so much harm to the earth.
Totally.
But realistically, people think it's 42% of people choose cremation, 35% choose a cremation with a memorial service, and the rest would be burial. So, cremation is my bread and butter. So I can't
but
go away
you know
from
what,
that.
Lauren? This is why I think it's an important thing to highlight is the fact that this is why people should call up Clarity
Right.
because that is their bread and butter. They make a lot of money doing the cremations, but yet they're taking it on themselves to identify and look at something else and say, hey, you know what? It's your choice, it's your loved one.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, we're going to provide you with all of the things available to you. And this is something that we actually feel is a positive shift. And we're not going to make as much money from it, but we feel like this is a positive shift and something more beautiful for your family member and better for an environment. And so they're even willing to say, well, maybe we'll make a little bit less money, but we think this is a positive thing. That's somebody you want to entrust with your loved one.
And it's important to think about the generation, like our
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
was
The
just sitting here
generations.
thinking. I've never thought about it before. But when you think about, let's go back to burials, because everybody, cremation is, although not a brand new process for like my family, cremation seems very unusual,
right.
and
Well, you said your grandma was buried in Texas.
Yeah.
They have land there.
well, yeah, but
Right?
that's what, how
Yeah.
is there still land?
There's-
I mean, think of all the people this sounds so simple, but all the people that have died
Mhm.
and all the people on this earth that are going to die.
Right.
How is there room? I mean, how is there still?
Well, it would be good if we were contributing back, maybe it'll help with the whole, our environmental issues. Really,
Yeah.
I think it could be a positive shift in the right direction.
Absolutely.
A lot of crematories, they have caps on the number of cremations that they can do per month. And we have a crematory right next to us that they constantly are hitting their cap, and those mortuaries are running over to us being like, can you cremate these people?
And that's because of the.
AQMD, so the air quality
Oh.
control.
So what? Wow, I didn't
Because there's-
realize that cremation
It's very, very
toxic.
controlled. I mean,
Or-
it's not toxic, but it's carbon emission going into the earth.
Well, think about all the chemicals
So-
in your body,
yeah.
and then you're burning up those bodies, and it's all going into the air.
Yeah, so it's all going into the air. I mean, it's just like more
Yeah.
cars driving on the road,
Wow.
So
It's either negative air going up or positive soil going down.
yes,
And
and
I
at least
think that's a good
at
thought.
least for like planting trees,
yeah.
using it in some capacity
Yeah.
that it benefits the earth more than a casket does in the ground. It benefits the earth more than cremation does, sending emissions out. into
I
it.
feel so much smarter right
Me
now.
too. What an education.
I mean, when we were supposed to be doing a podcast about housewives gossip, and now I'm learning about making the world a better place through Terramation. And I mean, really, good job, Gina. I mean, I gotta say,
I have great friends. Great friends. So interesting, right?
I just have to really applaud you because I thought you were, I mean, in addition to already thinking you were crazy, but this felt like a new level.
Mm-hmm.
And
really the cherry on top.
But I've delivered here today, people.
You are the cherry on top.
I've delivered. Speaking of the cherry on top, I want to discuss one more thing because we do this. We put everybody.
I don't feel like this is the right place for this. This feels sacred.
Okay. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and ask the question. I feel we must. We've made a commitment to the poop scoop. The people want to know.
They do.
Okay, so we do this segment called the poop scoop. Okay, it is a far cry from Terramation. But everybody, let's be honest, everybody dies and everybody poops, and we want to know if you've ever pooped your pants. That's what we want to know. Oh. We ask all our guests to share an embarrassing story.
I don't know why it's hard for me to look at Lauren right now while you ask this question.
She's like a real part. You just asked Jessie Tyler Ferguson that she's so classy. I know, which is why I'm like, let me show you the other side of Lauren. Yes. So we want to know. Spill the beans.
Oh, well, I don't poop, so I don't have a story for you.
She doesn't poop.
That has something to do with Terramation. I don't know what.
Defying the odds.
There's something about it. She does not poop. That whatever she's done to herself is not legal in California, but she goes to Seattle to poop.
It's just another sacred, another sacred thing that she.
That's a topic I don't think I'll hit on.
Okay.
I love.
Ask me anything about death
any day, but not pooping.
Maybe not.
I love it.
Isn't that for real though interesting?
Yeah.
Because I think of death as it is so hard for people to talk about, and. It's funny because we all have our different boundaries or different things that for whatever reason that's not comfortable. I think there's probably a lot of very normal people who do not want to talk about poop. So I appreciate the honesty, but I do think it's funny because I find as we first were sitting down and you know how we were going to get into this, I thought, boy, this is going to be awkward. We're going to be talking about death. I don't want to offend anybody. I certainly don't want to offend Lauren. And then, you know, Gina did by mentioning the poop, but
I did. I know I did too.
I just find it interesting that how, again, I go back to how normalized and how it should be talking about death should be as casual as anything because of the fact that we're all going to die.
Yeah. And it is something that we should be prepared for. And I don't think people really realize how much even just the funeral itself costs, you know? So talking about these
things. That's a big issue for people.
It is. Education in the funeral industry is very, very important.
Yeah.
I think people don't want to talk about it because they think it means it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Well, it's going to happen.
But I think they think it puts it in motion.
I am very pro pre-planning.
Yes.
And
it takes it all off your family.
It's the same thing as getting married, right? You don't want to talk about potentially getting divorced, but that's not going to stop that shit from coming either. So, talking about everything.
It's true. You're basically signing a prenup online.
Yeah.
But I always encourage people to have these awkward conversations with your parents now so that your siblings and yourself aren't like, I want cremation, I want Terramation, I want burial, and you can't decide on anything because that's a lot of the disputes.
Sad.
So sad. And
I can't imagine handling
the amount of people that come to me and they already know that their mom wants to be X, Y, and Z. They're already grieving. They don't have to deal with making decisions. Mm-hmm. So pre-plan.
Well, that's wonderful, Lauren. We really did learn a lot. Thank you so much for coming on. It really was interesting. I swear, me and Travis, since dinner, have not stopped talking about this.
I can't wait to tell my husband.
It's so interesting. And I think that our viewers are going to find it very interesting too. And so thank you for being willing to come on and to come on when I gave you 12 hours notice.
Yeah.
She didn't even confirm it. She just texted me. She goes, could you do this tomorrow?
No, one of those texts, what are you doing tomorrow? That's the worst.
Yeah, what are you doing tomorrow?
It's like, what are you doing tomorrow?
Right.
I'm going to need to know why you're asking.
I'm going to need you to commit to the day before I tell you.
I was like, can you just tell me if I need to wash my hair or
not?
And I was all I care about.
Yes, wash the hair, girl.
Wash the hair. Lauren, thank you. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
So nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Mwah.